I'll tell you, the number one thing about my job is I enjoy it. And how lucky am I? You know, if you don't know the difference between work and play, then you're in the best job in the world.
All right, now tell you what, can you stand like this, put your hands next to your side? All right, I'm going to walk right over the top of you guys. Are you guys brave enough?
Many people ask me what the title of my job is, or what my job description is, and I call myself a stilt walker entertainer. You know, there's a lot of people in this world that can walk on stilts, but the bottom line is, unless you've got a personality that can interact with the general public, people don't care.
So nice meeting you. Can you give me a high five?
You know, it's funny, when I was a kid, my dad made me a pair of wooden stilts, and I never thought that I'd actually make a living doing something that was fun. But my dad had always said to me, my mom and dad, when I finished high school, they said, if you want to do something that you enjoy, they said, that's an education right there. I was very blessed to have parents who said that.
My real feet right here. Can you see them? Those are my real feet right there. That's where my shoe is. And below that, that's all made out of aluminum. So now you know the secret, right? Yeah. So everybody go, aha! Aha! Aha!
A lot of fairs like this one, for instance, they kind of trust us entertainers that we're going to do our job. And they end up letting us pick our own schedule. During the day, I do 4 one-hour sets on stilts, which is actually quite a long time to be on the stilts. I personally picked that schedule, and the reason I picked it was because at 7 o'clock I get to go and intermingle with the crowd for the concert that's coming in, and that's a nice thing to do. You know, people are waiting to see the concert. They might as well have something fun to look at, like a guy on stilts walking around taking pictures with people. But also, you know, I like to do an hour on, an hour off. It gives me a little time in between to relax, maybe go get some junk fair food, which I try to stay away from.
No, I can't do somersaults, no. But I can touch my toes. Watch.
Oh, you can touch your toes.
Easy, right?
Now, some people, as entertainers, you do a thing and you get an applause, and entertainers feed off the applause. Now, being a strolling stilt walker, it's very rare that you get applause, and a lot of it is monotonous. It's the same thing over and over and over. I can't say that the performing angle is being satisfied, my performing urge, but the fact that I'm out there visible, that's kind of good for my ego and kind of good for me.
They're pretty good for dancing. Watch.
Ah, that's good.
You've got to have the right personality. You've got to love people. And I personally love kids because they're so honest. Of course, the number one thing I do is get high fives from a lot of kids. And, you know, kids love interaction. They love something personal. You know, a 2-, 3-year-old sometimes will be a little shy and a little hesitant. But when they eventually do come up and give me a high five, it makes me really smile and makes my job worthwhile.
Good job. Okay, down low. Too slow.
I'm from the old school, you know, where when I was a kid we used to walk on stilts. But I think it's an old tradition and a skill that's brought a lot of fun to a lot of people over many, many years. And it's certainly a pleasure to be in this business and to bring that joy and fun to people.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you later. Bye-bye.